My name is Sheila Estelle Neira, and I am a Master's in Nursing student at Azusa Pacific University. And I am going to be conducting an interview today with Dr. Nabil Hanna, who is a full-time faculty member.
Yes.
Very good. And I have taken a class with Dr. Hanna. It was advanced pathophysiology, and when I was in his class, I was so awed by what an amazing and wonderful instructor he is.
Thank you.
And he has inspired me to want to continue and become a teacher as well. And currently I'm in a class, and so we're conducting this interview because he has so many wonderful traits that I really would like to incorporate one day. So I wanted to understand a little bit about his philosophy of teaching. So Dr. Hanna, if you can maybe introduce yourself a little bit and your background here at this school, and then tell us a little bit about how you view teaching and how you incorporate that into your class.
Okay, so I'm Nabil Hanna. I'm a physician, actually an anesthesiologist, and I have a doctoral degree in anesthesiology. I practiced anesthesia for over 25 years, but this was not in the States, and I moved to the States like 3 years ago, and I joined APU 2 years ago. And it was a privilege that I joined APU because in Egypt, before I came to the United States, I used to be a university professor, but I did more clinical practice than teaching. And here at APU, when I started teaching, I realized that I enjoy teaching much more than practicing, especially practicing anesthesia. Thank God I was a good practitioner and I had a successful career in anesthesiology, but now I really do enjoy teaching. And I guess that I enjoy teaching because I view it in a specific way, so maybe I'm now going to answer your question, the philosophy of teaching. I see teaching as sharing the truth with someone. Since my childhood and my adulthood, my early adulthood, the word truth occupied a central position in my life. I was kind of a truth-seeking person. And another thing that is very valuable and very important in my life is the word, or words in general. How you use words. Do you use them, whether you use them as written words or verbally, orally. So I believe that teaching joins these two most important things in my life, the truth and words. So as a teacher now, I share the truth with my students using words. These words can be said in a lecture or in a one-to-one office hours sessions, or written in PowerPoint, papers. And I believe this is kind of complementary to research. I believe research is kind of exploring and trying to dig deep to reach again the truth of something. Teaching is sharing this truth, helping others to understand it, to realize it. So this is the way I view teaching, and I believe this is why I really enjoy it, especially when I'm very much convinced and I believe that the source of every truth in this world is God, in Jesus Christ. So as I'm seeking the truth, I find myself constantly seeking God. And as I understand more, I can see Jesus Christ in every truth I teach. I can see the wonders of the Creator when I speak about His creation, especially the cell function, and then I can see when some invaders is going to attack the cell, how the cell is going to defend itself, maybe adapt a little bit, and if the patient or if someone falls sick because of this invasion, what are the defense mechanisms, or what can I help him as a practitioner to help his body resist the disease. And in all these steps, whether I'm teaching pathophysiology or pharmacology as I'm teaching now, again, I'm sharing truth with my students. And because every truth has to stem from the absolute truth in the universe, who is God, so I'm kind of sharing God with my students by sharing this truth, utilizing tools. One of these tools is the most I like is words, and how to use words effectively. Because again, I believe in the what some authors say, the creative power of the spoken word. I believe in this creative power of the spoken word because it was through the word that God created the universe. So I value the words, and I value the use of words and how to make them as clear as possible, as precise as possible, and of course as correct as possible.
I can say that I've actually seen you emulate that, because I would see you working and presenting something in pathophysiology, and you would present it, and then you would present it, and then you would present it. You would use different ways of presenting it, and I believe that you were trying to reach every single student in your class, and I can see that you genuinely cared about everyone. I saw your class as being very active. I saw you moving throughout the aisle and engaging every student, asking questions. And I was really impressed with how you asked for volunteers and you brought in experiments. And at one particular point, you had every single student involved in a giant living cell, you know, moving with active transport and DNA and all of that. And I thought, boy, that is so creative and so brilliant. Is that something that just comes natural, or how do you gain all of that inspiration for those types of things that you bring into the class?
I remember what you're talking about. I remember this class, this was the genetic class, and I'm doing it. It just came to my mind, honestly. And some of the analogies I use, some of them I might read about, or I might heard one of my professors providing it, but again, some of the analogies, they just come to my mind. I mean, some of the analogies even come to my mind while I am in class, and I keep kind of improving them, adding some bits and pieces everywhere until the analogy is kind of very close to the reality. And again, I find myself kind of imitating Jesus Christ, because the Bible says without proverbs Jesus didn't talk to people. So Jesus all the time used analogies. So I believe, and I'm going to adopt this way of teaching, using the analogies and a lot of examples. Even I put a lot of multiple choice questions in my lecture. And in my farm class, I put these questions as case scenarios, clinical scenarios. So I'm putting all the time examples. And I'm doing this analogy for the students to understand more about the concept. Because I'm utilizing like everyday activity and examples from everyday life. So you can now realize and imagine what I'm talking about by realizing this scenario, this analogy, and so you can correlate the concept with something you can see, you can move, you can do, so it makes more sense. And whenever you understand the thing, it's hard to forget it. And even if you forget it, then you can start with the analogy and you will find yourself finally reaching this understanding of the concept. This is much preferred than just memorizing facts. Because if you just memorize facts, for sure you will forget some. But if you develop it yourself, you conclude it yourself from performing some activity, and then you by yourself reach this conclusion, that's much better than just me telling you, know this 1, 2, 3.
That's wonderful. I wish I could be in your class in pharmacology. I've already taken that course, but it sounds really wonderful to actually be giving scenarios and case studies and really make it more meaningful. Thank you so much. Some of the things, descriptives, words that I would use to describe you in the time that I've been in your class, caring. You know, you really care about each student and you want them to succeed, and that's so evidenced. Engaging. You really want to engage everyone, and you want students to be active participants, not just sitting there, but be active. Excellence. You really model excellence. You know, what you're describing and just seeing you in action in class, to me that speaks volumes. Spiritual. I can tell that you are very God-centered, and that really means a lot. And I really appreciated the spirituality case studies that you had us looking in the Bible at Scripture and different things that happened with people that needed healing. Another thing is you're very considerate, very kind, very humble, extremely creative with the different experiments and garnering the class to get involved with the genetics and all of that. I just thought you're just so creative. And another thing that I liked is that you offer students choices. It's not the faculty or teachers saying, this is what you're going to do, I've assigned you this and that. You let students decide what they're going to present on and form groups. So thank you so much, and thank you for your time, and it's really been a blessing to be in your class, and I esteem you greatly, and one day I hope, someday, just take that inspiration with me.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you very much. I appreciate meeting with you and talking to you and your class.
Yes, thank you.